Well, they'd be cheering if Dale did it, but are they right? Let's talk about it. Coming up next. What's going on, everybody? If I haven't earned your subscription, hopefully today is the day that I will earn that subscription. All right. Basically on Twitter, even in the comments here on this channel, you saw a lot of sentiment that a lot of people said basically to the effect, some form of this, well, they would be cheering if Dale did it. So let's jump into it and talk about, first off, why that is sort of a flawed argument and what they probably actually mean by that, which is actually probably a right argument. First off, why this is a flawed argument is a lot of people either don't remember or were too young to remember that when Dale Earnhardt got introduced, his reception when he was introduced was very much like Kyle Busch's. There's a lot of boos and there's a lot of cheers. So it was mixed right down the middle. So the first fallacy in this argument was people cheered Dale Earnhardt when he wrecked somebody or bumped him out of the way to get a win. That's actually not true. He got booed quite often. The most famous incident of that, of course, is the Bristol night race where he wrecked Terry Labonte and the fans just straight up booed him. That was probably the loudest he's ever been booed. But even when it was just a general introduction, when he hadn't even done anything before the race even started, you would hear half the crowd boo and you would hear half the crowd cheer. And that is something that is actually, you can look back at a quote to see that that's true. You don't just have to take my word for it. You can look up the famous Dale Earnhardt quote that went, paraphrasing here, something like, "I don't care if they cheer or boo as long as they're not being silent." So he got a lot of boos in his career as well as cheers. The other part of this is that his legacy is sort of rose-colored because people think that people pulled for him because he wrecked people and he was overly aggressive. But that's actually not true because he didn't win Most Popular Driver until the year that he passed away. And that is when probably the strangest thing ever in sports, at least since I've been on the planet, has happened. The guy passed on, and all of a sudden, all these people that were very critical of him, basically were haters, all of a sudden, they were in love with Dale Earnhardt, and all they had to say about him were nice things. So basically, a guy that got booed for a lot of his career, as soon as he left us, a lot of people all of a sudden appreciated him and had nothing but nice things to say about him. So the Dale Earnhardt that is portrayed today, people only say nice things about him and talk about how great he was. But actually, in the moment, he was getting booed because, like I said, he didn't win Most Popular Driver until after he was no longer with us. So I think the sentiment that he was getting celebrated for what he did by the majority of fans is sort of false as well. The other thing that plays into this is guys like Joey Logano, Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch, name whatever successful driver you want to name right now that you consider to be the best, but almost to a man, hardly any of them sort of came up the way Dale Earnhardt came up. Dale Earnhardt came up turning wrenches and he said, "I don't want to do this my whole life. I'm going to be a race car driver and I'm going to do whatever it takes to be a race car driver." But he had that blue collar background. His dad had that blue collar background. So he had a lot more resonance with the vast majority of the fan base that is in NASCAR. You look at a guy like Joey Logano, you look at a guy like Kyle Busch, who have been driving race cars since they were like, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 years old. Not a lot of people can relate to that. So that is one aspect of it as well, that Dale Earnhardt sort of got away with it because his personality was more relatable to more people. Whereas nothing against Joey Logano or Kyle Busch, I think, you're born into the situation you're born in. So, I mean, it is what it is. But a lot of people just can't relate to that because a lot of people haven't been racing since they're, 6 years old. So that is part of it as well. So I think that the old, if Dale Earnhardt had done it, people would be celebrating is kind of a weak argument. But I think when people say this, what they really mean is certain drivers can do whatever they want to, and they will be cheered. They usually point to Chase Elliott, who for the first half of his career was actually a really clean driver, but then he got used up enough, he became an aggressive driver. Same thing happened with Joey Logano. First part of Joey Logano's career, clean driver. Second part of Joey Logano's career, he got tired of, or this part of Joey Logano's career, he's gotten tired of being used up. And round about, 2015 or so, he just decided, I'm going to start yeeting people. I'm going to move them out of my way. I'm tired of being run over, and I'm not going to be run over no more. So, whereas Joey Logano gets booed, Chase Elliott gets cheered when he essentially does the same thing some of the time. Now, I'm not comparing them directly. I'm just saying one driver, like, it's considered retaliation when one driver does it, right? It was considered retaliation when Chase Elliott did it to Kevin Harvick. It was considered retaliation when Chase Elliott did it to Denny Hamlin. And I'm not getting into the back and forth about this, but when Joey Logano did it to William Byron, it was not considered retaliation because more people dislike Joey Logano for whatever reason. They've got their own reasons. And more people like Chase Elliott for whatever reason. They have their own reasons. So what my point is, though, is one guy gets cheered for doing something that the other guy does and gets booed for. So I think that's actually what they mean by it, is that NASCAR fans have a serious bias toward whatever driver they're not pulling for. And I think that's actually what they're saying when they say this. But to say that if Dale Earnhardt had done it, he would be cheered, when there is literally YouTube clips of Dale Earnhardt getting booed when he goes to victory lane. If you can find an introduction when Dale Earnhardt gets introduced, you'll hear plenty of boos in the crowd. So I think the argument itself is weak, but I think what they really mean to say is fans treat different drivers different ways just because they like one driver better than, say, this driver, even though the same behavior is exhibited. All right, let me know down in the comments section what you think about it. I use Chase Elliott because he's the most popular driver, so I'm not trying to step on any Chase Elliott fans' toes, but I'm sure a lot of you are going to sound off on me like I did. But I didn't. So leave it down in the comments. Try to be respectful if you can. If not, let it fly, whatever. But YouTube bans cuss words, so just be aware of that. And if you have made it this far, feel free to subscribe. All right, that's all I got for you. Thanks for your time. Peace.